Hey, Klay. Big announcement this morning that the Warriors are getting a WNBA team, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. If you're a WNBA fan, how you feel about this?
A huge WNBA fan. I mean, I grew up in Portland. We had the Portland Fire. And, I mean, Jackie Stiles played there. She's a great shooter. Moved to Southern California, and I was lucky enough to watch Lisa Leslie play and the Sparks win championships. So hopefully now in my adulthood I can see some WNBA championships brought to the Bay. But that's just a special day for basketball lovers around the region. I know how well women's basketball is supported up north, especially, when it comes to like Stanford Cardinal or Cal Bears, St. Mary's. So there's a lot of great. I mean, look at what Sabrina's doing. She's from the East Bay. So it's a hotbed for talent, and it seems like it was a long time coming.
Klay, you just mentioned some great names there, but do you think there might be a WNBA player that best maybe resembles your game?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Gosh, I mean, I would say Sabrina, but she does much more than I do. She is a triple-double threat every night. I mean, I love watching Caitlin Clark play because I know she's not in the league yet, but she's obviously going there just because of her ability to pull up from anywhere and score from anywhere. Ryan Howard for the Atlanta Dream. She's one of the better young players. Maya Moore was my favorite. I got to spend time with her at the Olympics, and she's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. So there's just so many. I mean, I could keep going.
And if you could name the team, what might it be?
If I can name the team?
Yeah.
I really got to think about that. That's hard to just put me on the spot. But you got to do something that resembles the characteristics of the Bay Area. I'll think long and hard about that one. But, yeah, I'll let Joe know.
Klay, Steve Kerr just said that having some fresh perspectives come in for a WNBA staff, could be a positive for him, learning from new faces and new ideas. I mean, what does that say about a coach who's as accomplished as Steve to say, okay, I'm going to go, learn some more?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just Steve. He's like one of the most humble people I've ever been around. And I know he's a huge supporter of women's sports, especially with his daughter playing volleyball at Cal. And I know he'll be a fixture at games here, so will the rest of us. And it's just really awesome that we have a team now, and the summer's got a little more fun. And I'll definitely be doing a lot of bay crossings on the boat to come to these games. That's a fact.
With all that Oakland has gone through, losing the Raiders and it looks like the A's, and even with your team's move across the Bay, that this group is going to practice at your sparkling practice facility over there. That's still quite a gem.
It is a gem. I was there last night, and I had a great time.
Did you use the 360 technology? Or?
Nah, not. Okay. Sometimes I do, but I'll just go back there. I was there with Zaza and his children, and we just so many great memories, obviously, in Oakland, and I still go to Oakland all the time. I know it hurts losing 3 sports franchises, but we've built memories that will last forever, especially in the East Bay. So have the A's and so have the Raiders. But it's really cool that the future team will be there, obviously. It will help a lot.
Do you imagine that'll do a lot for the fan bases, maybe of not just the WNBA team, but, all those teams?
I think so. And I think it will – I mean, women's basketball is so strong in the Bay right now. Oakland High won back-to-back state championships. Like, that's incredibly hard to do. So I got to spend time with those young women, and they were just incredibly impressive people and great students. And hopefully with the WNBA team, it encourages more participation at the youth level. And obviously the viewership would go up here in Northern California, and with our support, it's going to be a great thing.
Klay, one just quick non-WNBA question. Steve was up here recently talking about, with Draymond being out, Chris starting this first preseason game, that he envisioned you guarding fours a lot more this season. Just kind of want to ask about your comfortability defending in the post and how you envision your defensive role as well.
Well, nowadays it seems like the NBA is pretty positionless, and the power forward position is so different than it was when I was watching the game as a kid, you know, like big forwards like Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan and all those great power forwards of the 2000s, with Amare, Stoudemire, so many. Those guys who have that ability nowadays kind of play the 5 position, and they don't even – guys like Embiid and Jokic, they play on the perimeter a ton. So I don't see it being the hardest transition for myself. I pride myself in being able to switch and guard every position, not for long periods, but for short spurts, and I'm just going to do whatever's asked of me. We have such a cerebral, talented team. We can all lean on each other, especially for our strengths and weaknesses.
Klay, over here. Michelle Smith, I want to take you in one more different direction. Do you have any thoughts about what you're hoping for Washington State in this whole Pac-12 mess?
Oh, man. Well, shout out to our women's basketball team winning the Pac-12 championship last year. That was all so incredible. But I have no idea what's about to happen. It's pretty disheartening seeing the Pac break up, because I grew up on the West Coast and it was my dream to play in the Pac-10 conference. The amount of great athletes that have come out of that conference is just insane when you think about it. I mean, some of the greatest athletes to ever perform, whether it be Jackie Robinson or Kareem. I mean, there's so many legendary names who've come through that conference, so it's pretty sad to see it dissolve. I know the Cougs will be supported wherever they go, but I have no idea what's in store for the future. I mean, I'm constantly in communication with Pat Chun, and I just try to be the best supporting alumni I can.
Do you want to see him stay in Power 5?
I would like to see them stay in the Power 5, because we have an illustrious history of great athletes to come out of Wazoo, and I think we're deserving of that title, but at the same time, we got to do what's best for the university.
Thank you.
No problem.
What is just kind of the early days of this team coming together, and obviously specifically the Chris Paul fit so far?
How's it doing?
Yeah.
It's going great. I mean, Chris is a great leader, and it's just an honor to be on the court with him. I watched him as a kid, whether it was at Wake Forest or with the Hornets. So I'm just trying to learn from him. And first 3 days of camp been great, been very tiring, and we're just getting the fundamentals down. I'm really looking forward to playing Saturday and you know, seeing how our schemes and other stuff's going to work. It's going to be a great preseason, though. Probably the most important preseason I've had since I can remember.
Why do you say that?
Just because we're integrating a lot of new pieces like Chris. Draymond's out, so we really got to accelerate the learning curve on a lot of these young guys. And I just think if we have a great preseason, we can springboard that into a great start to the year.
Klay, much is made about Chris's leadership. You know, it's talked about a lot. But as someone who's playing with him for the first time, how does that show up on the court?
It shows up by him just having the knowledge to know where guys need to be at. He almost sees the play ahead of everybody else. He is really good at communicating out there on both sides of the ball. And lastly, he just hates to lose. I mean, he's so competitive. He always has been one of the best guys to compete against. And now I'm really happy he's on our side, because he's been a thorn on our side for the last decade. He's been such a great player, and he's one of the best point guards to ever lace him up.
Klay, this is more of a regular season game, but for the past couple of years, you haven't been participating in one end of back-to-backs and stuff. So with the league's new rule on just trying to get, I guess, participation up more, and then they obviously put the 65-game limit in for awards, just what are your thoughts on that? Are you excited to have to play more, I guess?
Yeah, I love to play. Before I went through these injuries, I was in the lineup every night, and I look forward to getting back to that point. Especially for the brand we've been able to build with the Warriors, and to see the fans we have on the road, it hurts when you can't give them a show. I mean, I know how hard people work, especially in other cities, to come watch us play, so we take great pride in being available. And my favorite players growing up, like Kobe and Michael, Jordan, they played 82 games routinely. I mean, I'm going to shoot for that. If I get somewhere in the 70s, that's a great year for me.